Have you ever wondered why some people learn so fast? They just hear something once and get it, while you spend hours trying to understand the same thing? I used to be like that too. I thought I wasn't smart enough, that my brain just couldn't compare to others. But then I realized, intelligence isn't something you're born with. It comes from how you use your brain every single day. When I changed just a few small habits, everything started to shift. I remembered faster, learned better, and became more confident in every situation. Today, I'm going to share 5 simple but incredibly powerful habits. If you practice them daily, you'll see yourself becoming smarter in ways you never imagined. Becoming smarter is not a matter of luck or genetics. It's the result of deliberate habits and mental conditioning. Intelligence is a skill, one that can be trained, shaped, and expanded through consistent practice. The first and most fundamental step toward becoming smarter is to change the way you learn. Most people are taught to memorize information, repeat it for exams, and then forget it soon after. But truly intelligent individuals don't just collect data, they connect it. They transform information into understanding by asking why something works, how it connects to other ideas, and what it means in real life. The difference between learning and memorizing is the same as the difference between a photocopy and an original painting. Memorization copies without comprehension. Learning, however, internalizes the structure and meaning of knowledge, allowing you to apply it creatively in new contexts. People like Elon Musk, Charlie Munger, or Richard Feynman mastered this principle. Musk, for example, doesn't study isolated facts. He builds mental trees, where every branch of knowledge connects to a deeper trunk of fundamental principles. This allows him to understand rocketry, engineering, and neuroscience in ways that cross-inform each other. The Feynman technique is one of the most powerful methods to learn like a genius. It's simple. Take any concept and try to explain it in plain language, as if teaching it to a child. Doing this forces your brain to clarify and organize the information. Every time you get stuck, it reveals a gap in your understanding, a sign to revisit and deepen that part. This technique rewires your brain to move beyond shallow memorization and into true mastery. Another tool used by high-level learners is spaced repetition, which leverages the psychology of forgetting. By reviewing information at strategic intervals, you strengthen neural connections and ensure long-term retention. Smart learners also know how to manage their attention. They understand that the brain learns best in focused bursts, not in endless sessions of multitasking. Deep focus, or what Cal Newport calls deep work, allows for the kind of absorption that produces insight and creativity. To apply this, set aside specific time blocks where you eliminate distractions and concentrate entirely on one task. Use short breaks between sessions to let your mind process and consolidate what you've learned. Furthermore, learning doesn't stop in the classroom. The smartest people treat the world as their teacher. Every conversation, every mistake, every book or documentary is an opportunity to add new layers of understanding. They combine active learning, taking notes, summarizing, experimenting, with reflective learning, thinking about how new ideas relate to what they already know. This dual approach transforms scattered information into a coherent worldview. Equally important is curiosity, the spark that drives every discovery. Curiosity fuels persistence, creativity, and open-mindedness. Instead of fearing what they don't know, intelligent people get excited about it. They view questions not as signs of ignorance, but as gateways to growth. Cultivating curiosity means asking better questions, exploring multiple perspectives, and refusing to settle for surface-level answers. When you stay curious, your brain stays flexible, and flexibility is the essence of intelligence. To become smarter, you must fall in love with the process of learning itself. Intelligence grows through curiosity, reflection, and repetition, not through shortcuts. Change how you approach knowledge. Seek understanding, not memorization. When you learn deeply and intentionally, your thinking evolves, your creativity expands, and you start to see connections others overlook. Over time, your intelligence becomes not just something you have, but something you are, a living, growing force that shapes every aspect of your life. Critical thinking is the backbone of intelligence, the ability to separate truth from illusion, logic from bias, and facts from noise. In an age where information floods our minds every second, being able to think critically is no longer optional. It's essential for survival. People who think critically don't just absorb information passively. They question it, dissect it, and test it against reality. They don't accept common sense as truth. Instead, they pause and ask, why is this true? How do I know? What's the evidence? That simple habit, questioning instead of assuming, is what sets a sharp mind apart from a dull one. Most people fall into the trap of confirmation bias. They seek information that supports their beliefs and ignore what challenges them. Critical thinkers do the opposite. They intentionally look for opposing viewpoints to see if their reasoning still holds up under pressure. This habit builds intellectual humility, the recognition that you could be wrong and the willingness to learn from that possibility. True intelligence isn't about always being right. It's about constantly refining your understanding through evidence and logic. To build critical thinking, start by practicing awareness of your thoughts. Whenever you encounter a claim, ask, who benefits if I believe this? What's the source? What assumptions are hidden beneath this statement? This mental discipline forces you to step back and evaluate information before reacting emotionally. In a world driven by social media, outrage, and quick judgments, this pause is a sign of strength. It means you control your thoughts, not the other way around. Critical thinking also means being able to analyze arguments logically. It's not just about skepticism. It's about structure. Every argument has premises and conclusions, and your job is to test whether those premises truly lead to the conclusion. Logical fallacies, such as appeals to emotion, false dilemmas, or ad hominem attacks, are everywhere. By learning to spot them, you instantly elevate your ability to reason clearly and make better decisions. When your logic becomes sharper, your life choices become wiser, because you're no longer manipulated by emotions or social pressure. Another powerful way to develop critical thinking is through active questioning. Instead of passively consuming content, interact with it. After reading an article, don't just move on. Summarize its core argument in your own words. Ask yourself, do I agree with this? Why or why not? What would change my mind? By forcing your brain to articulate reasoning, you strengthen the neural pathways involved in analysis and comprehension. Over time, this habit turns your mind into a tool of precision, not confusion. Reading widely is another secret weapon of critical thinkers. Don't confine yourself to one genre, ideology, or field. Read science, history, philosophy, and opposing political opinions. The goal isn't to agree with everything, but to understand how different systems of thought operate. This mental cross-training expands your cognitive flexibility, the hallmark of a truly intelligent person. Finally, practice critical thinking in daily life. When you argue, aim to understand before defending your point. When someone disagrees, listen to their logic instead of preparing your counterattack. And when you make decisions, rely on both emotion and reason, balancing intuition with evidence. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Critical thinking isn't about being cynical. It's about being conscious. It's not about rejecting everything, but about learning to see clearly through the fog of misinformation and manipulation. When you sharpen your mind to think critically, you gain freedom. The freedom to choose what to believe, how to act, and who you become. That ultimately is the mark of a truly intelligent person. Your environment is one of the most powerful forces shaping your intelligence, often more than talent, genetics, or even motivation. The people you interact with, the media you consume, the conversations you have, and the spaces you inhabit all silently sculpt your mind every single day. If you want to become smarter, you must learn to design your environment with the same care that an artist designs a masterpiece. Intelligence doesn't thrive in chaos. It thrives in stimulation, challenge, and intentional growth. Think about the people around you. Every friend, colleague, or mentor either sharpens or dulls your thinking. When you surround yourself with curious, driven, and insightful people, your brain naturally rises to match their level. Psychologists call this social contagion, the phenomenon where habits, emotions, and even ambitions spread through social networks. If your circle values gossip and comfort, your mind becomes shallow. But if your circle values ideas, learning, and self-improvement, you begin to expand intellectually almost without effort. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. To create an environment that stimulates intelligence, you must be intentional about what you feed your mind. Replace endless scrolling and shallow entertainment with inputs that challenge your thinking, podcasts that explore science and philosophy, books that stretch your worldview, videos that teach rather than distract. The brain is a mirror. It reflects what it repeatedly sees. Fill it with noise and you get confusion. Fill it with clarity and you get insight. 1 hour of quality mental input each day, reading, deep conversation, or reflective journaling, compounds over time into massive intellectual growth. Physical space matters too. Your environment should invite focus, not fight against it. A cluttered room creates a cluttered mind. Organize your workspace, reduce distractions, and design areas where learning feels natural. Simple tweaks, like natural light, quiet surroundings, and clean organization, can dramatically improve your ability to think clearly and creatively. It's not about perfection. It's about creating a physical atmosphere that supports mental flow. Morning routines are another underrated source of mental power. Starting your day with activities that awaken your brain, reading, meditation, or exercise, primes your mind for focus and creativity. For instance, a short journaling session where you write down 1 new idea, 1 lesson learned, and 1 goal for the day trains your brain to seek patterns and insights instead of reacting aimlessly. Over time, these small habits become the foundation for a smarter, more intentional mind. One of the biggest mistakes people make is staying too long in environments that keep them small, workplaces that discourage innovation, relationships that mock ambition, or communities that fear change. Growth cannot happen in a cage. If your surroundings constantly drain your curiosity and confidence, you must have the courage to step out. The most intelligent individuals in history, from Galileo to Einstein to Jobs, all thrived because they placed themselves in environments that nurtured discovery and rewarded thinking differently. To cultivate intelligence, expose yourself to challenge. Attend discussions that intimidate you. Read books that you don't fully understand yet. Seek out people who disagree with you and learn from them. The goal is not to be comfortable, but to expand the boundaries of what your mind can handle. In the end, your environment is either an anchor or a launch pad. You don't have to be born in a stimulating place to create one. You can build it through your choices, the content you consume, the people you spend time with, the habits you practice daily. When your surroundings align with your desire to learn, growth becomes effortless. You don't have to force yourself to be smarter. The environment itself pulls you upward. Memory and focus are the twin engines of intelligence. You can learn all the information in the world, but without memory to retain it and focus to process it, knowledge slips away like water through open fingers. Training your brain to remember better and concentrate deeper is not just about discipline. It's about understanding how the mind naturally works and aligning your habits with those patterns. The smartest people don't have superhuman brains. They have systems that help their brains perform at their best. Let's start with memory. At its core, memory is the art of connection. The brain doesn't store isolated facts. It stores relationships between ideas. Every new piece of information must attach itself to something you already know, like a branch growing from an existing tree. That's why rote memorization rarely works. It's like planting seeds in midair. Instead, create meaning and context. When you learn a new concept, link it to an image, a story, or an example from your life. The more personal and emotional the connection, the more likely your brain will keep it. This is why storytelling and visualization are such powerful memory tools. They give data a home inside your mind. One technique that embodies this principle is the memory palace, used by ancient scholars and modern memory champions alike. The idea is simple. Imagine a familiar place, your house, for example, and assign each room or object a piece of information. As you mentally walk through your palace, the spatial memory helps you recall each item effortlessly. This method uses the brain's natural strength in remembering locations and turns it into a map for abstract ideas. It transforms remembering from effort into imagination. Now focus. the ability to direct your mental energy like a laser rather than scatter it like a flashlight. In a world of constant notifications and noise, focus has become a rare superpower. Neuroscience shows that attention and memory are deeply linked. What you focus on is what your brain decides to store. When you multitask, you divide your focus, and your brain records fragments instead of full memories. That's why deep focus is essential for deep understanding. To strengthen focus, train your brain through deliberate practice. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break, can retrain your attention span. Over time, you'll find it easier to sustain longer sessions without mental fatigue. Meditation also plays a critical role. Just 10 minutes of mindfulness a day can rewire your brain's prefrontal cortex, improving your ability to stay present and resist distraction. It's like weightlifting for your attention. But focus isn't only about blocking distractions. It's about managing your mental energy. Your brain operates in rhythms, not straight lines. It has peaks of alertness and valleys of fatigue throughout the day. The smartest individuals learn to schedule their most demanding cognitive tasks during their high-energy periods and use low-energy times for routine or creative work. By aligning your schedule with your brain's natural cycles, you can achieve more with less effort. Another often overlooked factor in memory and focus is physical health. Sleep, for instance, is where your brain consolidates memories and clears out toxins. A single night of poor rest can impair both recall and decision-making. Likewise, exercise increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that enhance clarity and alertness. Even simple habits like staying hydrated or taking short walks can dramatically improve cognitive performance. Ultimately, memory and focus are not fixed traits. They are skills that grow with consistent training. The key is to be intentional. Design your environment for concentration, use proven techniques for recall, and respect your body's natural rhythms. When you master these two pillars, learning becomes effortless and thinking becomes sharper. You'll begin to realize that intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about remembering what matters and focusing long enough to understand it deeply. When people think of intelligence, they often imagine IQ, logic, reasoning, and problem-solving skills. But there's another dimension that's equally, if not more, important: emotional intelligence, or EQ. This is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. EQ is what allows intelligence to function in the real world, in relationships, leadership, teamwork, and personal resilience. You can have the sharpest brain in the room, but without emotional awareness, your intellect becomes cold, rigid, and disconnected. The smartest people in life are not just thinkers. They are feelers who know how to translate thought into meaningful human connection. At the heart of emotional intelligence lies self-awareness. It's the ability to observe your inner state, your moods, triggers, and patterns without being ruled by them. Most people react automatically. They get angry and lash out, get anxious and withdraw, get jealous and sabotage themselves. Intelligent people pause. They notice what they feel, name it, and analyze where it's coming from. That simple act of self-observation turns emotion from a storm into data. You can't control what you don't understand, and understanding begins with awareness. The next layer of EQ is self-regulation, the art of responding instead of reacting. It's what allows you to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly when emotions run high, and to make decisions from clarity, not chaos. High EQ individuals know that emotional stability is not weakness. It's power. They've mastered the ability to delay reactions, breathe through impulses, and choose their response deliberately. In practice, this means taking a pause before replying to criticism, questioning your assumptions in moments of anger, and not letting temporary feelings make permanent choices. Empathy is another defining trait of emotionally intelligent people. It's not just about being nice. It's about seeing from another person's perspective. When you can sense what others feel and think, even when they don't say it, you gain insight that pure logic can't provide. Empathy deepens communication, dissolves conflict, and builds trust. It's the silent skill behind great leaders, negotiators, and creators. Steve Jobs, despite his reputation for being intense, had an uncanny ability to intuit what people wanted before they could articulate it. That's emotional intelligence in action. But EQ doesn't stop at understanding others. It also involves social intelligence, the ability to navigate complex human dynamics. This means reading body language, understanding group energy, and adjusting your communication style to fit the moment. People with high social intelligence can walk into a room and instantly sense the tone, tension, or unspoken hierarchy. They know when to speak, when to listen, and how to guide conversations toward positive outcomes. This skill turns ordinary intelligence into influence. Building emotional intelligence starts with small daily practices. Journaling helps you identify recurring emotions and their triggers. Active listening, truly focusing on what someone says instead of preparing your next reply, strengthens empathy. Mindfulness meditation trains you to notice emotions as they arise, giving you space to choose your response consciously. Over time, these habits rewire the brain's emotional circuitry, creating a calm yet perceptive mind. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of EQ is resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks without losing your sense of self. Life will test you. Failures, rejections, and losses are inevitable. But emotionally intelligent people turn pain into perspective. They ask, "What can I learn from this?" instead of "Why me?" They understand that emotion is energy, and if channeled wisely, it fuels growth instead of destruction. True intelligence integrates both the mind and the heart. IQ helps you solve problems. EQ helps you understand what problems are worth solving. IQ helps you think clearly. EQ helps you connect deeply. When both work together, you don't just become smarter, you become wiser. And wisdom, ultimately, is intelligence illuminated by compassion. Remember, no one is born smarter than others. The difference lies in the small choices you repeat every single day. Reading one more page, thinking one more minute, asking one more question. If you start training your mind today, you'll be amazed by how much you can change in just a few weeks. Intelligence isn't a gift. It's the result of persistence. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Every day, grow a little, and you'll become a smarter, more confident version of yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to inspire more people to unlock their true potential.